Hello BookTube, hello friends, welcome to Lizziefaye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth, and in this video I'd like to continue telling you about the specific books that I'm reading for one of my reading projects for the year. So I announced a while back that I am doing a challenge this year called Get Serious About Series, or hashtag Serious About Series. It's just something that I came up with because I didn't want to do another Stack the Series challenge this year, but I still wanted to keep reading series, and I wanted to challenge myself and you guys to join me to finish reading some series, or start reading some series, or continue reading series. I love series. And so I have a TBR specifically for that I haven't shown you yet. It is posted on my Goodreads group, Lizziefaye's Comfy Corner, and I will do that video probably next, but this one just seemed easier to do at this point, and I just want to go ahead and get it out there. So in this video, this is sort of an offshoot of my Serious About Series TBR, because this is also series that are on my TBR, more specifically trilogies. And even more specifically, they are all middle grade or YA trilogies that I have read the first one of, and I want to finish those trilogies this year. So it is a total of 12 trilogies, and so that's 24 books. And I want to read or finish one trilogy each month, and let's just get started. So for January, I kind of got a late start really sorting this all out and figuring out what I wanted to do. So I did end up rereading the first in a trilogy that I knew I wanted to finish. And because I found it on Scribd on audio, and of course, Scribd will cut you off after a couple of books. And I had already listened to some other Scribd books, so this one was still on there. I could have gone ahead and just skipped over to the second one, but it's been a while, and of all 12 of these trilogies, this is the one series, one trilogy, that I felt like I would benefit from rereading it just to refresh myself. I remember I remember enough about all of the first books of the series, these 12 trilogies, but I don't know, it was there, and I thought, I'm just gonna listen to it. And of course, because I'd already listened to some other Scribd books, then, you know, that was it. So so the rest of the trilogy I'll have to finish in another month. But with that exception, I am going to attempt to finish each, one of these trilogies every month, and I'll just have to pick up the slack for the 2 books that I didn't get done from January. I will probably listen to them in March or May when I'm reading mostly middle grade. So most of these, 7 of these to be specific, are books that I read because they are Sunshine State books. That is a list of books every year that the Florida Association for Media and Education chooses for each different age group, and I have been reading the 6th to 8th grade books ever since my daughter was in middle school, and she's a senior now. So several years now I have been reading all 15 of the books. In fact, hopefully within the next month or two, probably in February, I need to do a wrap-up of all of the Sunshine State books for this school year, because I just finished reading the 15th one in December. And so 7 of these books I read because they're Sunshine State books, and I want to continue reading the trilogy. Then the others I read for different reasons. One I read because my husband was reading it. Another one I read because my daughter was reading it. And one I read as a kid myself, and I didn't even know till, I don't know, a couple years ago that there were more books in the trilogy. And one is a book I read because of book club, and just never went back and read the other 2. So let's just get started. I don't know if I have plugged every one of these into the month that I'm going to be reading them, but I know for sure what I'm going to read in February, so I'll just go ahead and start there, because this is historical fiction. The first book is Alex and Eliza. I read this for book club. It's pretty rare that we ever read a YA book for my library book club, but we did read Alex and Eliza a couple years ago, whenever it first came out, and I enjoyed it. I'm not a Hamilton fanatic. I've never really listened to it. I've never been to New York City, so I've never seen it. But my daughter really likes the music, and it's history, and this is going to be perfect for the Historathon, because one of the prompts is to read a book about a war not World War II, and this is Revolutionary War. So this is book 2, Love and War. I will have to read this in print, but my library has the 3rd book on CD, so I'll get to it later in the month of February. So this one is February. Now, let me go back and show you the ones that were Sunshine State books, because that was the one I got started with in January, is the Luck Uglies trilogy. It's by Paul Durham. I had read this first one a few years ago, and I think I read it in print, so that surprises me that I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I still had a lot of the details confused, and so they're all 3 on Scribd on audio, and I just thought I'd go ahead and listen to the first one again. And now that I've done that, I'll go, you know, in future months and pick up the other 2 as I have time and as Scribd will allow me to. So this, I don't remember what year this was a Sunshine State book. It's probably been 4 or 5 years ago now. It says that it was published in 2014. So this is a fantasy book. I don't know if you'd consider this urban fantasy. It's definitely more historical, and it is, it's kind of creepy, and it's mysterious, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, so I'm gonna continue reading. I don't remember the names of the other 2 books. Then, in no certain order, another one of the books is The Eighth Day by Dianne K. Salerni. This one is urban fantasy. It's about a boy that wakes up and everything is weird. It's like everything is kind of gray, and it's an 8th day. It's a day between Wednesday and Thursday, I think. I don't know. But he discovers that he has this power to experience this 8th day that most people can't experience. And so he wakes up and he kind of starts walking around, and he does end up encountering a few other people throughout the book who also experience an 8th day. And it also has ties to Arthurian legends, and so that makes it kind of cool. And it's just really interesting and a fascinating concept to think, you know, what if you woke up and there was an 8th day that most people didn't have any idea about? Kind of an alternate reality sort of a thing. So the second book I do own. This is The Inquisitor's Mark, and I want to get to this one and the 3rd one sometime this year. I'm not sure when. Then another one that I've been wanting to get to ever since I read the first one. The first book is called Randoms, and this is science fiction. It's about these kids who are randomly selected to go and be delegates to another planet who is considering letting other planets or universes or whatever into their federation. And so the boy who is selected from Earth, well, there's a team of 4 from each of these planets, and 3 of them are selected because of their abilities, and then 1 is selected randomly. And it's so interesting and unique, but yet, I don't know, I should probably read the first one of these again, but I loved it. I thought it was great. This is the 2nd book, I believe, 2nd or 3rd, and I just grabbed it from the library so that I could show it to you. But this one is called Rebels, and the other one, oh, I don't even remember. I think this is the 2nd one. Yes, it is. Anyway, it's another single word title that starts with R, and it's science fiction, very, very fun. And then a dystopian book that I really enjoyed is The Testing by Joelle Charboneau. I have this is my book, and I've had the 3rd one on my shelf for a while, and I just recently found the 2nd one at a used bookstore. So hang on one second. Sorry, I got a notification. So I just recently found the 2nd one, so now I've got all 3, and this is a series that my daughter Katie wants to read. She thinks she's already finished it. I don't remember her finishing it, but, I mean, she would know. But now that I have all 3 of them, she sat down a month or so ago, I guess during the Christmas holidays, and started rereading. And so this is a fun dystopian series that kind of, you know, if you like Hunger Games or something, you know, you might enjoy this. It has some similar vibes, but of course it's its own story and it's different. And then this is also science fiction. This is probably, well, I don't know, urban fantasy. Yeah, it's more urban fantasy. This is a book, a series, a trilogy by Neal Shusterman that I don't hear anybody talking about, but I loved the first one. It's really, really unique and kind of creepy and fun. The first book is called Tesla's Attic. This is book 2, called Edison's Alley. The third book is Hawking's Hallway. And are you getting that kind of futuristic, sciencey inventor kind of theme? So this boy, I think him and his dad move into a house. It's kind of an old creepy house, and he starts exploring the attic, and there's all these crazy things up there, these things that he doesn't know what they are. And it turns out that each of these things has some kind of special features, kind of. I don't know if any other way to say it, but anyway, it was really fun. But that's not even the weirdest thing. I don't even want to tell you the weirdest thing, because that would kind of spoil it. But there is something in this series that is so unique. I've never seen it in another book. And it's just, it was like, what? Oh my goodness, what? Anyway, super fun. I could reread the first one. It was really good. And the it's not on Hoopla, though. I did just recently find the second and the third book are on Hoopla on audio, so I'm excited to get to those. I probably won't reread the first one right now. I remember enough about it. It's just hard to explain it because it's so crazy. It's just bananas. I've heard a lot of people use that word, and I love it. It's bananas. So that is fun. And then another one that is more kind of historically, well, I don't know. It's not really historical. Well, no, it's not. It's really probably more futuristic. It's a retelling of Robin Hood. The series is the Robyn Hoodlums, and this first book is Shadows of Sherwood. I've only read it, of course, because that's what I've just said. It's that I've only read the first one of all of these, and I really want to read the other two. And I don't know, it's hard to describe the setting because it's just kind of unique. I think it is futuristic, but I feel like they don't have a lot of technology. So it's been a while since I read the first one, but I did enjoy it. And so, and as you might be able to see, Robin Hood is a girl. And so that's fun. And then the other three, I don't have physical copies. Actually, I think I have 4 to tell you about. I don't have physical copies of everything, but I did mention Neal Shusterman. I have his, that trilogy is called the Accelerati trilogy. And I have another trilogy by him that is definitely YA, not middle grade. And I don't have a physical copy, but I read the first one because my husband was reading it, and it is Scythe. So most of you have seen that around. If you haven't read it, I think you would be pleasantly surprised at what a fantastic book it is. And I have purchased the other 2 on my, they're in my Audible library, ready to go, and I just haven't had an excuse to start them. So in my author binge video that I just posted yesterday, I talked about different authors I'm going to binge each month, and one of my October author binges will be Neal Shusterman. So in October, I will read both of these, this trilogy and Scythe. That's my plan. And then another trilogy that I read because my daughter was reading it is, and I don't have a physical copy of any of these, is the Jenny Han trilogy, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. I wish I could have gotten to those when Audible Escape was a thing, because I knew that they were on there. I did listen to the first one back then, and I didn't get to the other 2. I hope they're on Hoopla. I think they are. Anyway, my daughter Katie has read all of those and enjoyed them, so I definitely want to finish that trilogy. And then a trilogy that I started when I was a kid because it is a Newbery winner is the Rats of NIMH trilogy. Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH was the first Newbery winner that I ever read, and I did not realize till just a couple of years ago that the author's daughter wrote 2 more books in the NIMH series, or Secret of NIMH series. Her name is Jane Leslie Connolly, and I think this is book 2. R.T., Margaret, and the Rats of NIMH. And then I just checked, and my library does have a copy of book 3. So I'm excited I can finish that series, or trilogy. And does the series count can you call a trilogy a series? I think you can. So I think the words are, you know, interchangeable in this case. Anyway, so I loved Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. I've read it again since I've been an adult, and it just really sucked me into a world of fantasy and magical stuff. I think that was probably the first fantasy type book that I ever read, and I was fascinated by it. So anyway, I'm excited to get to that. And then I guess this is the last one. The Rick Riordan trilogy, the Kane Chronicles, has a series of graphic novels. And I did get this graphic novel read last year in 2020. And I had the other two checked out, but I just could not get to them. So I would like to go ahead and finish that trilogy. Now, I have read the actual Kane Chronicles trilogy, but I want to read the graphic novel trilogy. So this is number one. I own this one, but I don't have the other two. And so at some point in the year, I want to read that. So I don't have a month assigned for all of these, but I do for a few of them. And I'll just figure out what month works best as, you know, as readathons come up and different things. Whichever one seems to fit the theme of the month the best, then I'll just go with that. But the goal is to read and finish at least one of these every month. And I guess since I have the Neal Shusterman books both in October, then that'll free up another month during the year to finish the Luck Uglies. So that'll work out good. Anyway, that's all for this video. Have you read any of these trilogies? Have you started the trilogies and haven't finished them like me? Are there any other middle grade or YA trilogies that you would like to read or finish? Let's chat in the comments. And that's all for this video. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.